So this is the last part of the video. So to compare, okay, so we are already here. Okay, so you can see this is quite beautiful. It's the back side, this is the front, and then this is the back side. Okay, so let's start row number 37. So for row number 37, the first stitch is knit, bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, brioche knit, bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, brioche knit, bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, brioche knit, bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, brioche knit, bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, and here we are going to increase 2 stitches, knit 1, yarn over, and knit 1, bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, and here we are going to decrease 4 stitches. Okay, so how we have to do it, the next one is we will slip this stitch, brioche stitch, as if to knit like this. Okay, and the next one we will slip as if to purl, and this brioche stitch we are going to put it on a pass it on to a cable needle, or because this is just a single stitch, so I'm going to use stitch marker. I have some beautiful stitch marker from my beautiful friend Deborah, and then I'm going to just slip this into the stitch marker like this. Okay, and then drop it in the front. Okay. And the next stitch we will knit the next stitch, and the first stitch or the next stitch, drop it over or pass it over this knit stitch, pass the stitch back to the left needle. Now we will pass this brioche stitch on the left needle over this stitch. Now we will slip the stitch back to the right needle, pass the brioche stitch. Okay, so there are 2 stitches which we slipped brioche stitch like this one. We will pass it over this stitch. Okay, like this. Okay, now we are going to put this stitch back to the left needle from the front, and like this. And we will also pass this or slip this stitch to the left needle. Now we will pass this brioche stitch over this stitch, and this is brioche 4 stitch decrease, and then we slip the stitch back to the right needle, and you can see that this is beautifully decreased. Okay, and bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, brioche. Here I need to increase. Okay, so we will do not just a brioche stitch but increase 2 stitches like this. Bring the yarn in the front, brioche knit, bring the yarn in the front, brioche knit, and bring the yarn in the front, brioche knit, yarn in the front, brioche knit, bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, yarn over, bring the yarn in the front, leave it in the front, and then the last stitch just put it on the right needle. And we are at row number 38, so we are almost there at the end. Okay, so with the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, and then brioche purl, slip the stitch, yarn over, 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 purl stitch, slip the stitch, yarn over, brioche purl, slip the stitch, yarn over, brioche purl, slip the stitch, yarn over, purl, slip the stitch, yarn over, brioche purl, slip the stitch, and then we will repeat this till the end, till the last one stitch or edge stitch, we can say. Okay, the last stitch, just slip it, turn your work, and we are at row number 39. Okay. And this is, there are no stitches pattern or something, so knit the first stitch, bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, yarn over, brioche purl, 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 repeat till the last two stitches, and last two stitches, slip the stitch, yarn over, bring the yarn in the front, slip the last stitch or the edge stitch. Now we are at row number 40. So with the yarn at the back, slip the first stitch, and then brioche knit, bring the yarn in the front, brioche knit, bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, brioche knit, bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, brioche knit, bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, brioche knit, bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, brioche knit, bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, brioche knit. Okay, so let's repeat this till the last one stitch. Last stitch, just pass down. Okay, turn the work, and we are at row number 41. So with the first yarn, knit the first stitch, bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, and brioche knit. So we are going to repeat this for the entire row. There are no stitches. We have completed our lift pattern, so this is more like for the edging. So just going to repeat the same. So if you are watching here, you're almost at the end of the tutorial, and I'm assuming that you already have the lift pattern like I have. 42. So with the yarn in the front, slip the stitch or slip the first stitch, and then brioche purl, slip the stitch, yarn over, brioche purl. Again repeat this till the last one stitch. And almost there. Turn the work again, the same repeat, no pattern or anything, so we'll just quickly finish this. So the first yarn, knit the first stitch. So this is row number 43. Bring the yarn in the front, slip the first stitch, bring the yarn in the front, and then, or say yarn over and then brioche purl, slip, yarn over, brioche purl, slip, yarn over, brioche purl. Repeat till the last 2 stitches. Okay, and then slip the stitch, yarn over, you bring the yarn in the front, and then slip the stitch. So row number 44. So with the yarn at the back, slip the first stitch, brioche knit, bring the yarn in the front, slip the stitch, brioche knit. Again same repeat till the last 1 stitch, and then we after we complete this row, we are done with brioche knitting. I'll just show you the finishing or the bind off. Okay, so we are done with brioche knitting. I will cut off the second yarn. And then I will turn this work. Now I have only the first yarn which I use for the front. Okay, so there's only this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knit the first stitch and then bring in the front and then purl the stitch. Okay, and then brioche knit. It's like just knitting that's 2 stitches together, and then purl, then knit. So I will do with this, or I will repeat the same till the end. So if you have any other method of bind off which you like, you can use it, but this is something which I like for this coaster. We don't need to have a very stretchable bind off. If I am knitting a scarf or something, probably I may not use this bind off, but for the coaster it is perfectly fine, and it looks pretty good. And then last, okay, so we have the same color of yarn at the end, and now we will just bind off. Okay, so for the bind off, just did a knit first, knit the second, and then pass this. This is like basic bind off. Okay, so I'm sure you all know it. So I find this project quite nice because I had lots of DK yarn, and which is like really, you know, teeny tiny bits. So for this entire coaster I use only 10 grams. So if I have something which is like 5 grams, which is almost nothing, you can't make anything up with that, I'm using it in this, and I'm going to make pack of 6 and use it for gifting for Christmas. Okay, we are almost there, just few more stitches left. Okay, and the last one, and we're done. And we'll just show in the ends. Okay, so I will cut it, and then we're done. Okay, so we made this beautiful coaster, which is exactly like this. So we have 2 of them now. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you are interested in the written and the chart, you can find it on my Ravelry store. Probably I will add it tomorrow. So by the time you watch this, I think hopefully it will be there already. And the back side is this. Quite like it.